let's talk about it. Let's talk about why this is a place to go for men, because I just mentioned those terms, that hypogonadism, age-related low testosterone, male menopause. These things are real, everybody. This is a real deal. And so I've had I have my testosterone checked. Here's something I want to tell you, Justin, just before we start into you just talking about everything. Last year I had to specifically request on my physical to get my testosterone checked. I wanted it checked. On the initial physical, it was not. I had to go back and have it done. This year, I made sure when I had my physical, I said, by the way, check that box, because they don't always check the box. And it's like, no offense to my doc, he never even mentioned it. I mean, I'm looking at it from I've done my own research and I have a good number, but I want to know that number. This is what you guys are doing. And now you can do many, many more things, increase libido, increase muscle mass. I'm going to let you talk about it. Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, no disrespect to a doctor or anything. The system we know is not, for them in a sense where you go to your primary care, they're not going to have the bandwidth. They're not going to have enough time to spend with you. Not their fault. They're trying to do the best they can. And now that we know what we know by working with laboratories, working with, blood laboratories as well, or pharmacies, that, it costs money. And, it's going to cost money. Not everybody wants to spend that money. So Evan Miller, started to say, how can I bring something to the table exclusively for males? Because A, they don't like to go to the doctor. B, they don't feel listened to. All right. And C, we got to make it convenient and easy for them because they're not going to, go out of the way to go to the doctor all the time. Well, we have an in-house lab. So you come in, the first time the consult's free. You'll get to spend 45 minutes with our clinical director. She's a physician assistant, and we picked one that's also a registered dietitian. We wanted to have that layer where, okay, whatever the case may be with you, we're going to have that nutrition layer, as well, and that lifestyle layer. And so by having that, we could get someone in our in-house lab. We take their blood draw right away. We'll check their PSA, their hemoglobin, their hematocrit, their testosterone, free testosterone, etc. We've got about 6 different things we could test in-house. So then we can see, and in fact, Tom, we are going to be the largest, as a franchise, the largest PSA testing company in the country. And if we get someone with a PSA of, let's just say 10 or something, pretty high, we're going to refer them to a urologist. That's not our game, but we really check the blood work to make sure, is there any red flags? Do we need to send someone, more labs out? Do we need to refer them to another physician? Because we're not going to treat somebody or prescribe something without all the data. And when something's prescribed, it's got to be done correctly. So we kind of handle all the dosing. The pharmacy is going to be, very clean and legit. Because you could go, let's just say for Hims. For Hims, great company. You can go there, or you can't go there. You get the blood test, you send it in. Here's where we bridge the gap. We have a one-on-one consult, with the either we have an MD as well and a PA that's going to talk you through everything, answer other higher level questions, not just, hey, we're going to get your testosterone up. What's going on in sleep, nutrition, lifestyle? Are there other things we can do to help you? Because the fact of reality is 40%, it goes 40, 50, 60, 70. 40%, and it goes up by 10% each decade of men suffering from erectile dysfunction or low testosterone. Now, there's a myriad of reasons why, but I'll give you one example. Military, whether or concussions. Those folks tend to have lower testosterone because something with pituitary gland, maybe PTSD, maybe head trauma. We could do all we can for nutrition, sleep, exercise, but sometimes it's not enough. And I also saw this from the weight loss sector, Tom. I've been in this forever. And as much as you and I and any other trainer want to say, work harder, eat better, etc., we're always going to push for that. But the thing is, it's not easy for people. Not everybody's like you and me, where you are non-negotiable every day. I'm going to get my workout in. Like, this is not a negotiable. You shouldn't expect everybody to have that. So, like, we have semaglutide and trizepatide. Now, there's a right way and wrong way, right? We talked about this on the last show. I'm like, well, if you're really overweight, it may be something you really need to do. Maybe not. We don't know yet. Evidence has come out. It's helping a lot. Now, if you are not counseled by somebody, you just get it on a website or you're just getting an injection at some type of med spa, you're not having the support of a physician slash dietitian. Here's how you need to be eating. Here's how you need to be doing XYZ, water, etc., or else this can happen. Now, it's individual people get different symptoms, but we've got to have people, if we're going to do these medications, we've got to have the other layers, or it's not going to work optimally.
Justin, how would you like people to get a hold of you in the clinic or Katie to set up an appointment? What's the best way to get to Game Day and over to State of Fitness?
Yeah, so you could easily Google, Game Day Men's Health Traverse City, because they have a micro site. So there's going to be, a big site obviously for everybody, but then each individual franchise has a micro site. But the best thing to do is either call or text. You can, text 231-210-2700. We have a software
Say
system,
that again,
and
please.
obviously, yeah, 231-210-2700.
Thank you.
So that'd be the quickest way, because we're always answering the messages. We have a portal that everything comes to. But Game Day Men's Health Traverse City, you'll get to see the website. Anybody in Traverse City that's listening, you guys know where Copper Ridge is. That's over there, right next to the surgery center. It's a great location that we have. So if you're in that area or up in the northern area, we're right there.
On what you guys are offering up in Traverse City and how we can help men.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just kind of comment on the women is, I'm a firm believer that, the studies in the 80s and 70s, on, menopause, hormone replacement, and cancer, were just absolutely terrible. And we had a host of women suffer through menopause where they shouldn't have. In fact, Tom, I work with one of my clients with her blood cancer research advocacy group, called MPN, and I've been able to travel the country with her, and having dinners and talking right with these researchers and these professors and doctors about all of this. And the short story of it is, yes, those studies were terrible. We let people suffer through it. The estrogen does not increase the cause of breast cancer in certain respects. I mean, obviously there's some special considerations. It's more about the administration of it. So guys too, we used to think, okay, heart disease and prostate cancer. Well, we now know that obviously with proper doses, you could actually reduce prostate cancer and mitigate heart disease to some factor. Obviously, there's some personal things that go into that. But in fact, the symptoms from low T, we want to get rid of those, and taking the testosterone far outweighs any chance of any prostate enlargement, heart issues. In fact, it can reduce those. So that was the big things. And of course, through the Reagan years and the steroid era, steroids just got beat up by, the whole public, just like a lot of things do, until you get educated. And again, you're under the care of a physician, proper dosing.
Now let's talk about some of the other surfaces, because like you started to allude to, it might not be just a testosterone, it might not be an HGH thing. You might want to go into the peptides. Now I'm learning more about peptides. I want to hear your take on peptides. I don't know that much about them, but I've heard good things about them. Can you explain to people what they are?
Yes, I mean, in short, peptides are just chain links of amino acids, right? So they're not necessarily going to be like a steroid hormone, because you've got human growth hormone, and you have something that we use is called samorelin. Okay, samorelin is going to be a peptide that's going to help increase, growth hormone. There's other peptides like BPC-157. That's going to be your anti-inflammatory one. I hope that the NFL, the UFC, places like that can not ban that, because all it does is it helps you recover. I had actually a doctor client that took it. She tore her Achilles. She's very highly active. Loved to do different competitions like CrossFit, and they couldn't believe how fast she recovered. Now, with peptides in general, Tom, there still needs to be more data. There still needs to be some things with all the peptides. I'm saying the ones we use have pretty well vetted, but I mean, there's hundreds of peptides out there for anything that you can think of. But the reduction in side effects with them is pretty cool, because your body's going to recognize them a little bit better because of the chain links of amino acids. Now, again, you could go online and get any of these drugs, right? Where they're coming from, you don't know. It's got to be a good compound pharmacy. But here's the key, with whether it's the peptides, or semaglutide, or the TRT, the big component is you've got to have someone helping you through it, because you need to get your blood work done regularly. We're going to check your blood work every 1 to 3 months, so we make sure everything else is going right. Peptides, like you, Tom, it's probably a little overwhelming. There's so many things with the peptides. I know there's this much to know. I probably know about this much right now because there's so much going on. The ones we have, I know a lot about. But the peptides, that's going to probably be, in my opinion, kind of a little bit of wave of the future. And we already know this because Big Pharma is trying to, shut down some of these things because they want to gobble up these peptides so they can sell them. So it's kind of some weird stuff, going on in that part of the industry for sure.
There's the one big thing out there that men we really don't like talking about, and it is erectile dysfunction. And we need to talk about this because this is a big part of obviously men and women's health and your success as couples and your life and everything. So let's talk just quickly before we get into the cost of the clinic for the patients. But let's talk about the stats behind erectile dysfunction so men don't feel like they're so alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who wants to talk about that, right? And sometimes out of your control. Yes, being overweight and out of shape can cause erectile dysfunction, poor blood flow, etc. But after I learned a lot more about it, there's many other factors. It could be injury. It could just be simply that, some type of nerve endings aren't working. It could be an injury. I heard a lot of injury stuff. If you've gotten hit, and you lose those nerves, or something called Peyronie's disease, where it's just let's just kind of get down to the nitty gritty. Your penis wears out and it changes shape and it builds up plaque. It's just, if you're 60 years old, you've been through a lot, right? It's like any other body part. So we try to make sure we make it as comfortable as possible. Cialis, Viagra, things like that. We're going to use those therapies, but something called Gainswave. Now, Gainswave, basically, you're taking electrodes and you're stimulating the nerves. It takes multiple treatments. There's some great success with it. Now, the big combo with that is, and this sounds real funny, and trust me, when I start talking to people about this business, you got to get real comfortable talking about a penis pump. By doing Gainswave, a penis pump, and then also, the Cialis, the Viagra. We had a guy come in the other day, and he said, it's really sad. He's driving all the way from Detroit because he's so embarrassed, and he hasn't had, an erection in 3 years.
Wow.
He's like, I'll do anything. I have no idea. My doctor can't tell me what's wrong. No pill works. I mean, these stories come out of Game Day all the time. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of therapies to do it, but you're getting, what we hear from the franchisees is you're seeing, husbands and wives crying in the office, can't believe it. How is this happening? It's more than just taking the pill. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot with the tissue. It's going to be a lot with the nerves, and that's where we attack a lot of it.
With your expertise in the fitness industry, there's got to be a component coming where you could help people like give them some tips on the gym once they start feeling like, hey, I want to get back into it because I'm feeling good. I want to go. And you could give them that help, correct?
Absolutely. So that'll be another layer we'll add. We don't have actual personal training there, but thankfully our PAs and RD, the cool thing is, between, let's just, because we both know mutually, Chris, and Marjorie, our RD, we're all kind of in that same wavelength of nutrition, kind of saying the same stuff, right? And so that was really awesome for me because I didn't want to have someone that was totally in kind of a different mindset of nutrition. So she's got that buttoned up pretty well. We'll also use some supplementation as well when needed. So we'll have that as well. But we will counsel them on fitness, and we'll make that a big component and make sure they have us to access, as far as what should I be doing for my fitness. And I actually have a couple former interns up in Traverse City who have a personal training gym. And so I don't have a training gym up there. So we have a couple of gyms we'll refer people to, and we'll kind of a cross promotion kind of as far as a little bit of a discount type of thing. So that's going to be, another thing that we can add on to as well. And that's the big thing with Game Day. They really push you to do that. Like, look, partner with people in the community that can help each other and also help your patients. And so that's been pretty cool.
But give me a 30-second quick takeaway, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that Game Day is going to be kind of a bridge between, okay, yes, you need a primary care, and yes, you need to do all the lifestyle stuff, but it's help. It's help from a medical standpoint. And I think that's what we're missing in healthcare is kind of get more attention. It's a fun environment. You walk in, it looks like, we got Sports Center and sports on, and it's comfortable, snacks, and it's kind of like people walk in, they say, what is this place? So find us. Make sure you guys think about investing in your health.
This is one of the greatest things I think I've come across. When I heard Justin was going to be doing this, I was like, I'm so down with this. I want to get so involved with this stuff because there are so many guys out there that are having erectile dysfunction and problems out there. It's so fucking sad. I'm sorry to swear, but it's just so fucking sad. And it can be helped. There are things that can help you. Effective. That's why you listen to this radio show, watch these videos. Thank you, everybody. We'll be in touch. I am Papa Tom, and this is the Tom Matt Show. And thank you so much for joining us, listening, and doing all those things. Again, 231-210-2700 is the number to the Game Day Men's Health in Traverse City. Justin Grinnell is a great, great guy. I've known him forever, and he's just doing amazing things. So until next time, peace out, everybody. Love y'all.